it was such a lackluster way to bring Ezra in. Like there was no excitement to that at all. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, really, like that's how you're going to reintroduce him.
Let's go.
Left coast is the best coast.
We back. We in effect. What? We back.
What?
We back. Oh man, you lose, dog. All right, you out. Next round.
Oh man, you lose, man. You're out.
We back. Oh,
Word up, everybody. You know what I'm saying? How's everyone doing tonight?
good. How you doing?
Super John to the Ahsoka After Show, Part 6.
Hey.
Or numero 6 for trilingual people. Uh-oh. I didn't see that creature in tonight's episode.
It's the Brood. He was just
But I
sitting
did see like Raphael and Leonardo in last night's episode. That was kind of weird.
He was just sitting here, so I was playing with him.
What'd you think of those Ninja Turtles being in Star Wars?
They were crabs, not turtles.
Really? I'll have to put that poll up because I saw one other person call them crabs, but I've seen 38 people call them turtles.
Well, they had eye stalks, like crabs have eye stalks. They had little pincher
How many
hands.
animals have a shell on their back?
And
One.
hermit crabs. Hermit crabs.
All right, we'll have to put a poll in the stream. I call space turtles because it's space whales, space. And I noticed that Balin, he calls them. He calls them space whales. He calls them something worse.
Star whales. Weren't they star whales or something?
Star whale.
Yeah.
So let's get. Gerard is probably sleeping, but if we speak loud enough, he'll remember all of this tomorrow. Welcome, Gerard. Rolando.
Hey, Rolando. Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Mr. B. And yes, hopefully you've all seen the latest episode because we're going to be talking all the spoilers. All of them. And if we missed one, let us know in the chat. Yes, thanks, Rolando. Ricardo, how are you doing, man?
Hey, Ricardo.
And sup, G? How you doing, G-Force? And we got Mr. Gap After Dark. Thank you for joining us today. So we're going to get rolling. So what did you think of the episode overall, John? Like your favorite?
Overall, I liked it. No, the previous one has been my favorite so far, I think.
I agree with you there. The previous episode was my favorite so far of the 6. This episode had maybe a couple of my favorite like imagery things, like things that look cool on the screen when we get introduced to
there
the Grand Admiral.
Cool shots.
So I thought it had some cool shots. I overall I did really enjoy the episode. Kind of thought it kind of went where I thought it was going, where I thought we'd get a bit of a break of Ahsoka. And I thought we'd get like an episode of like her travel time. And it kind of was like that. So I'm happy with that. Lots of Balin and Shin scenes. I'm happy with that. So we get to advance their story a little bit. And there's some interesting little things about them. One being General Balin.
Yes.
So that was something bounced off of by
he was in the Clone Wars as it must have been a freshly new Jedi Knight, right, at that time.
Yeah, it was just something we didn't know. It was something that wasn't kind of spoiled or leaked or rumored. You know, like my rumor is he's Ben Kenobi's brother, and you know, everyone's got their theories and stuff like that. But no one said, "Oh, he's a general." But interesting about that, about him being a general. I know we're not at that scene in the show yet, but how come Ahsoka wouldn't know him? Like, she was there for, I believe, the majority of the Clone Wars. We know he knows of Anakin.
Well, wouldn't it all depend on if you cross him? Wouldn't it all just depend on if you cross paths? And she just clearly didn't cross paths with him. I mean, if there was
possible, G-Force made a point. Most of the Jedi at that time were generals, or was it Jedi?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That, The clones called the Jedi generals. But what I mean is I thought that there were literally thousands of Jedi, or at least 1,000 Jedi. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, dealing with battles in different,
So,
areas and sectors, and
and
then when we saw the Order 66 happen, we just got to see, like, Ayla Secura and
yeah.
certain Plo Koon and certain characters and how their clones turned on them. Yeah, interesting, because
what I mean is that, like, in the prequel movies and even in the Clone Wars TV show, like, we didn't see over 1,000 Jedi, so there were a lot of Jedi we just didn't get to see. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the weird thing about it, is that, like, if all Jedi were considered generals in the Clone Wars, then technically the Clone Wars had over 1,000 generals, which is just ridiculous when you think about your military setup and your command.
well, I guess we gotta also consider how long the Clone Wars went on for, right? It was many, many, many years, I'm assuming. And when we first heard of the Clone Wars, it was spoke of in the live action movies. And then when that original animated movie came out, I guess when they made that animated movie, that was a Samurai Jack kind of cartoon style. That was a movie. It was that movie took place over many years as well. And then Filoni and Lucasfilm decided after that to do like a Clone Wars, serial type of animated series where they dove into lots of different little times from that original movie. Because I think that original movie, I think, had a beginning, and then by the end of it, I think a bunch of time had passed. But there was a lot of story to tell, and it's great that they did go back and tell a bunch of those stories, right?
Yeah.
There's still room for these stories, apparently, when we're getting a little bit of flashbacks and live actions. I'm happy with that. I don't want to see like I don't want to see people on the YouTubes. Oh, let's remake all of the Clone Wars in live action. I'm like, you
don't need to remake it. There's enough room to just even tell new stories. You could even, like you said, you could even follow different Jedi, because, like,
sure, yep,
because
during the same timeline.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think she was a general, and I think they called her general even last week when
they
she was
did.
a child.
They especially did towards the end, like when she was more grown up. They did call her general.
Calls her commander. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess she's in charge of that platoon kind of thing. So right off the bat, we get more of the Space Wells. And I thought this was a cool
it a commander?
Screenshot.
Okay. Yeah.
And just to think that,
So, like, what was interesting to me was that both the whales and the ship had those colors in the star field rather than just blue.
Sure, yeah.
So is that because they're going like hyperspace, where they're traveling between galaxies and going faster than normal hyperspace or something?
I think it's just art. It looks good. I'm sure they have reasons, but I don't know if it's like canon type of reasons. But yeah, so they're in there in the mouth of the whale, the star whale. And I'm glad this wasn't like an hour of them talking in a cockpit, because I've seen an hour of them talking in a cockpit already.
Yeah.
So it was kind of neat. He basically is like, oh, I could tell you, some of these old tales kind of thing. And then Ahsoka, what I thought was cool in this scene, Ahsoka says, he's like, I can tell you the 3-episode story of, this. And she's like, yeah, but episode 1's the best. So I thought that was kind of neat, because that was kind of like poking fun at us fanboys and fangirls, that, of course, Empire Strikes Back was the best. So, but I think it was kind of like that. So now what do you think? Now he started telling the story later on. She's like, okay, I'm ready for a story. And he starts it, of course, with a long time ago
in a galaxy far, far away. Yeah.
Now, what story do you think he was about to tell her?
Well, I think he was going to do one of the history of the galaxy. He said, like, history of the galaxy part 1. Like.
So wouldn't the story of Luke Skywalker as a little kid be history to Ahsoka? I'm just curious. I wonder if that was one of the stories.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have happened in a galaxy far, far away for them. That would have happened in their galaxy. Of course it happens in a
galaxy far, far away, because that was the first time we ever heard those words spoke was in A New Hope in the opening crawl. And
yeah, but
this is the only other time we've heard those words.
Hugh Yang lives in the galaxy where Luke was born. So he wouldn't say this happened in a galaxy far, far away if it happened in the galaxy he lived in.
Well, who lives in the galaxy that wrote the Star Wars crawl? Good point, though, but I got to call you on it.
Us in our galaxy.
Humans on Earth wrote the Oracle.
Yeah, saying it happened to a galaxy far, far away from us.
It's a documentary, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. My favorite droid is back. We'll call him Red Eye.
I have my Ahsoka right here.
It was cool. It was a neat little Easter egg early in the show a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
I thought
you could start an episode like that, and it did, or you could have probably ended like the whole series with that. And I thought it would have been a cool way to end a series in a way like that too. But yeah, this guy's cool, man. I don't want a witch action figure. I want this robot.
Yeah. And it's crazy that the ring around this planet is bones from a dead whale.
Isn't that interesting? So yeah, they arrived from their Uber space whale flight. And I guess they didn't use the whales; they used the map. And they come to the planet. So it looks like the planet is what's called Peridia, and not the galaxy. So last week we didn't know what Peridia was. I guess now confirmed Peridia is this planet here. And yeah, the rings, as we find out, are like space whale bones, which is pretty sick and intense. But Balin knew that, so I thought that was interesting. Like he wasn't surprised to see it. He knew that. Like
it makes you wonder about Saturn. Like, are the rings of Saturn a whole bunch of dead dinosaurs?
Yes, it's dinosaur bones. Only one way to find out. You know what? There's a little bit, because we were joking about that last week on Twitter with Mr. Spock talking to the whales, and now this episode, what I got out of it is that Dave Filoni watched the Ninja Turtles as growing up, because he's younger than me, and you were talking about that in your comic show earlier. One of your guests was about 10 years younger, and he grew up with Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and whatever came out in the late 80s, early 90s. And I think Filoni's in that same boat as well, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure Filoni wasn't alive when I was watching A New Hope in the movie theater. I'm just saying.
No, I think he is younger than us.
What's going on, Dino?
What's up, Dino?
Feeding the ducks. Quack, quack. So yes, finally we get some of the coolest characters in recent days. And
I really like Shin Hati and how she was just looking at Sabine like, I want to punch you. I want to or make space whoopee with her. But yeah, she's got eyes. She's got looks that kill. Like she's by far the best eye actor in this series. Yeah, she's so intense. Yeah.
And we get a little bit more of that later when she's asking Balin, some questions about this planet and why they want to stay there.
Yeah, remind me to bring up something when we get to that, because it's
Garen damn Teed Hammer is going to show up.
Well, I hope so.
He's gonna win all the Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I guess these statues here are because we know this is now like
a Night Sister planet.
The Night Sister planet. So those statues resemble them.
I like how they've
seen them drawn in that Ahsoka cave.
Yeah, I like how they flew down in a spice hauler from Dune.
It's a pretty cool little ship. So this shot looks like
it's from Dune, the David Lynch movie.
It also looks like a metal beetle, like a bug.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it does.
Scaraby kind of thing. It's cool, but how many of these damn ships fit in that big donut ship? Because we already seen her in another kind of ship, and we've seen Balin and Shin in two other kinds of ships, and they all somehow kind of park at that ring donut spaceship, and I don't know, a new ship to make some toys of. But maybe we'll only see it like in a Hot Wheel.
Yeah, yeah.
And in space is gold like cheap, dirt cheap. So what did you think of really our real first kind of look at the Night Sisters in live action? What did you think of them?
Oh, they were cool. Yeah. No, I liked them.
What's up, cool?
It's interesting to me that they did 3 witches, because there were 3 of them. Remember, there were 3 of them with those balls at the beginning of the series when Ahsoka was lining those things up.
Yeah, the paint was on the wall there, right?
There were 3 of them. Some of them were like this, and it had the ball, and the other one was like this, and it had the ball. It's kind of what these 3 do with those 3 balls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder if it's like just like a game. Like we play like with fidget spinners and yo-yos and river. Like I wonder, are they just playing? What are they doing? Like I have so many questions about them. That some of it might be obvious, but some of it's like, what the hell? Because
well, it is weird that the 3 balls connected with the red light like traps Sabine later, but yet these guys are just playing around with it like, hey, let's play with the trap.
And also it's red magic as opposed to the green magic we've seen, right? Because we've seen the green magic with these not the same characters, Night Sisters, but with Night Sisters in the cartoon. So I don't remember seeing any kind of red magic, but maybe that's just this weapon or this tool that they're playing with.
Yeah.
This Sith fidget spinner. Say that fast 3 times. Interesting, but I thought they looked cool. Like they all seem elderly, so no younger, badass kind of Asajj Ventress kind of feeling at all from these people. So I don't know if we'll see them battling at all. I don't know if they're that kind of like a warrior type of people, or if there's more of them on this planet, because we did see those red samurai looking, we'll call them Tusken Raiders or Raiders,
guys,
punks, thieves. And
I think it's interesting though that there's 3 mother witches, and like, is that all there is? Do they have an army? Like, is there an army of Night Sisters here, or is it literally just these 3? And then the other thing is you remember earlier one of the episodes was called Toil and Trouble, which I think, doesn't the Toil and Trouble, Boil and Bubble or whatever, doesn't all that come from Shakespeare, like Macbeth or something?
Yes, and also Enoch.
And there were 3 witches in Macbeth, and here we have 3 witches again. You know what I mean? So
yeah, so I take back a little bit what I said earlier about Dave, watched Ninja Turtles when they made this episode. He also watched like Shakespeare, because there's a lot of Greek mythology stuff thrown in this episode.
He could have watched Gargoyles, because Gargoyles went into the Macbeth storyline.
It definitely has
3 witches.
Greek vibe, as we kind of see later on with this Enoch. But yeah, Asajj would have been cool. But hey, I'm just throwing this out there. These witches, I'm pretty sure, are bringing a bunch of people back to life. So think of your favorite dead character and think that there's a chance you're going to be seeing them not dead in the next 2 weeks. I think you name 3 people that are dead, I bet you one of them's coming back to life for sure. Hey, Vern. That's my opinion. Like, I don't have an official.
Do you think Enoch is also a dead person, or do you think Enoch's alive?
I think for sure he's dead.
See, I think Enoch's the one that's alive. Because I noticed that a lot of the stormtroopers had that red tape around them that we were talking about.
Why does he sound all digital then?
But he doesn't have any red tape holding him together. See, I think the red tape is the key. No,
he's got gold. He's got gold.
I think the red tape is the key. You need the red tape to hold the spirit inside the armor.
Possibly. And here's the space booty shot.
Yeah, Sabine.
See, this was great. If this was shot in a volume or is mostly blue screen, it looked pretty well. There's a couple of scenes that didn't look as well, but overall, I thought the cinematography was pretty good this episode. And again, I've said this many times, it's very symmetric. It's very much the characters in the middle, and it's the artwork and the background is very much left and right, even Steven kind of thing. I noticed that was a lot of the great shots, but to me that's artsy stuff, and I like that. So now, why are Balin and Shin Hati want to stay on this planet? Because it looks like their end game is to not leave and go back to the other galaxy that's far, far away.
Well, like Balin said, there's something here that's pulling him, that's calling to him. So there's something more powerful on this planet that he said he could stop the cycle of war. You know what I mean? Because it seems to me that his goal isn't necessarily evil, because he, like, when he's talking to Shin here, he says, like, when you look back with the eye of history, like look back on it when you're with age and wisdom, you see that the Republic was due to fail, the Empire was inevitable, and then the fall of the Empire was also inevitable, being made by this new Republic, and now the new Republic is destined to fail as well. So he's like, it's just this cycle of governmental failures. Whoever's in charge constantly crumbles and fails. And he's like, so he wants to stop the cycle of failure and make something that lasts for thousands of years again,
Yeah.
And something on this planet is calling to him, but we just don't know what that is yet.
I think we will find out. I think we will find out in the next 2 weeks for sure. And it's what's now because of that, because I think in 2 weeks we'll find out what Balin's end all goal is. I think now that he's not going to die at the end of the season, and we're he is an actor that will have to be,
we're going to get
replaced.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying, because, there hasn't been a lot of, I don't know. It looks like they're leaving it open-ended for that. So,
yeah.
Ricardo, yes, the witches did say, like, oh, there's a stench of a Jedi here.
Yeah, she's got the stink
but when
of
they
Jedi
said
on
that,
her.
they didn't know which one it was. So she smelled 3 Jedi is what she smelled, because there's 3 of them there. So to be fair, there was 3 there, not just the 2. You call them dark Jedi, gray Jedi, whatever you want to call these 2. They're still Jedi, and they get called out by the Grand Admiral later on about it.
Well, what was interesting is what I was going to bring up before, now that we're on this scene, is that so Balin was taught by the Jedi in the temple, and then he found Shin out in the wild. Shin was not a Padawan during the Clone Wars,
Or he made babies.
He found her somewhere out in the wild and told her all these stories. She didn't live through anything. So it was interesting, because later on, when they say, like, she's a Bogan or whatever who was taught in the wilds, not a true Jedi, taught in the temple. She actually asked the question, well, is that what I am? And he's like, no, I've trained you to be something better, something different.
Better, he said. So what's better than a Jedi?
So it's interesting that, like, I don't think like, these guys don't consider themselves Sith, but they also don't consider themselves Jedi. They really do consider themselves outside, like what he said, something, he might even consider them something better, something more, like, in his mind, more evolved than a Jedi or Sith. You know what I mean? Because
and here's, like, I'm not, again, I don't want to make a theory on this, because the words that are coming out of your mouth and what I remember in this scene is, do you think because of this magic stuff and possibly bringing people back to life, as we know from that Marok character, was some green smoke and looking like these night troopers, or maybe zombies or dead troopers? Do you think Balin is thinking
they're all smoke,
that they can become more powerful if they're, like, reincarnated Jedis? Like, do you think that's a possibility? Like, die somehow but get reincarnated with witch power, dark knight?
Well, Steve, I don't know. I don't know if he wants to go that far.
Yeah,
but I could see a situation where Balin might be like, I've been grooming her to be a sacrifice for something later on.
Pew pew.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I hope not, but it's very likely that there could be something, not fishy, but he could be trying to use her for, like
Yeah,
you said,
because like
for his advantage.
what I mean is like I think G-Force is sort of touching on it. Like Dathomir, the witches of Dathomir, these Night Sisters, like they did like with the same thing with bringing some people back to life and things like this, or these ghosts, or how whatever you want to call what Merrick was. Like
Well,
I'm
they
just
brought
calling
Darth
Merrick.
Maul back, and he was not
Yeah,
a
yeah,
green smoke
he was
ghost,
chopped in half. But what I mean is like
but he
I'm
wasn't a
considering
ghost or green zombie. Like
no,
he was
I'm
alive
considering I'm
in a
considering
way, right?
Merrick. I'm considering Merrick a ghost,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, Merrick was for sure green smoke. Like
and I think that these stormtroopers are all ghosts. Also, I think they're all smoke.
I
But
agree, but
but
we're
I
gonna
can
we're gonna
see what I'm
see a
getting at
bunch
is
of
I
like
could see
coffins later.
yeah. What I'm getting at is I could see like Balin saying, in order to get this Night Sister magic or whatever that's pulling him, whatever is taking him, when he gets there, he's going to find out that the only way to activate it and gain that power is through a sacrifice. And therefore, he's going to have to try to sacrifice Shin to get that power for himself.
Yeah, possibly, and I hope not.
Because
if
like
it's his daughter, that would suck balls.
it costs, like the power is so great that it costs a life to get it. Because Night Sister power is about death and rebirth. You know what I mean? So if you want to take the power of these Night Sisters, you've got to have a death involved and then get rebirthed with the power of these sisters.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So in here, when Sabine's in the little prison, kind of thing, did you think she had any chance whatsoever of opening this door, or did you think
No, probably
chance?
not. Yeah.
I agree. I was like, yeah, no chance gonna happen, and she didn't. But we got this, bam!
Yeah.
How badass!
And it's also weird that the Chimera is so messed up. Like you notice the engines in the back, all the hyperdrive engines are dead. So that's why
and it's very damaged. You can see lots of damage.
Like, did
here.
the whale that took him out there like squish the whole ship or something? Like that's just crazy.
Well, it definitely did some damage. But remember, like, so we're saying 10 years have passed, right?
Yeah.
But again, perfect symmetry. The most badass, large, evil Empire Star Destroyer we've ever seen. So the Chimera. I thought that was badass, man. And
oh, it's cool, yeah. And he parks it right on the freaking temple.
Yeah, cool. Again, how weird was that, man? Like, it was like it was meant to be.
So they can walk into the hangar bay. That's cool, I thought.
Yeah, it was pretty neat because we didn't see. You can see more damage here in the bottom here.
Yeah.
And I also see lots of that gold color. Like, is it just me or is?
Yeah, no, it is. There's gold infused with it. Like the metal, like on this planet, there must be a lot more gold than there is other metals because they're using it.
Yeah.
They're using it instead.
And you can just see, his artwork logo painted on the bottom like it was in the cartoon. So that's pretty cool. As far as, CGI and animation, whatever, this is badass seeing this ship in live action. And now that we're at this scene, I got this little clip that gives us the intro. We're on. What? Okay, so that was probably my favorite scene of this whole episode.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, I was so weirded out when we got to see the Enoch character. And I mean, I was weirded out. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Why is he wearing a face like it's a gladiator face? Yeah, that's so weird.
But here's what I'm going to say about him. Okay, if we got to see him either in all the trailers, full out, like see that he's wearing a mask like that, or in episode 1, 2, like in the early episodes, then by this point now, 6 episodes in, I'll be used to seeing this freak of nature Star Wars character that is, he's only got 3 more possible hours of screen time.
Two really, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess, but it took me out of Star Wars for a minute, but it put me right back into Star Wars when I saw like 300 zombie stormtroopers marching. That was badass.
But see how like I was saying is every other stormtrooper has the red tape holding it together. And I think that's the magic that keeps the spirit inside the armor. Where if you look at Enoch, he has none of that red tape. So I think Enoch
he's got that gold. He's got gold paint where his helmet and his armor's cracked.
He's got gold.
He got the higher end treatment.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm
thinking.
mean,
he could be dead, but I just think he might be the only. I think he might be the only human, the only one that's alive, and that's why Thrawn put him in charge, because he truly only trusts another living being. So that's why he put him in charge, because he's the only other one that's alive. All the rest are ghosts, I agree.
Like going light or Sabine going dark.
I think Shin would kick Balin's ass if he tries to sacrifice her. Yeah, that's what I think.
So exactly. One thing I noted, and I noticed it.
But where's his ripped up uniform? I don't see how it's ripped up.
I'll zoom in because that's what I was bringing up. One thing I noticed, even on my very first watch, when I saw him here, I'm like, oh, like he's got a ripped uniform. They forgot to fix it or whatever. But yeah, so
I didn't notice this. Oh, I guess it is there.
Tattered up here. It's totally tattered here. And if you look at here, it's all ripped and tattered. Like it's tattered over here. It's not like bullet holes or lightsaber cuts or anything, but it's definitely tattered up old uniform. And I don't think it's just because he hasn't been to laundromat in 10 years. My inkling is that maybe Thrawn is already dead.
No, I don't think he's dead. His face looks too normal to be dead.
How did you think he looked?
He would be, he would have decay on his face if he was dead.
No, but as a debut of our live action Grand Admiral Blue Man, what did you think?
Yeah. He looks a little strange to me. He's not, the shape of his head and face is not Thrawn shaped, but
I agree.
Okay. His voice, he did the voice pretty good, so I'm all right with it.
He sounded great. Great. He's got a good presence on the screen. It took me a minute to get used to him, but then again, I'm like, hey, you know what? He's a blue guy with a little V shape in his head, and he's got red eyes.
Yeah,
and they pulled it off. So I'm liking him because I'm familiar with the voice from the cartoons. I know the character from the 90s from reading the books. So I'm all in for Thrawn and his night troopers, as I think they're being called.
Yeah.
And man, he's definitely creepy as fuck, man. Like, I don't think he's as good as I was once thinking. I think he's all bad news now.
Yeah. The only crazy thing about this is that, like, this is never going to work. Like, from my perspective, this is never going to work as a toy. I know that Hasbro's going to. Hi, Mike. I know that Hasbro's going to want to put out a Thrawn trooper, stormtrooper, whatever.
I think they're called night troopers.
Night troopers, whatever they are. Okay.
And Enoch is the head of the security.
Yeah. And Enoch is fine because he's going to come out just like he is.
But he's weird.
You would have to make like 10 or 12 completely different stormtroopers to build an army of these. They couldn't, if they just release one with some red tape wrapped around it and some dings in it, like, that's just one trooper. Because if you look, every single trooper is entirely different from the
Yeah,
one.
there's some that had like a gray half of a helmet.
Yeah, some have gray, some have a different helmet entirely, some have like a visor on top that can be folded up.
I want to
I'm
see
like
zombie TIE fighter pilots, man. We better see them soon.
So I'm going like it's almost and the wraps are wrapped differently on every single one. Like it's not like they wrapped it the same way with the red wrap.
No, because it's literally holding the armor together.
Yeah, yeah. So
but yeah, I noticed that too, Mr. B. He did have a little bit of a pot belly, a little bit, and his hairline, like his, we'll call it the receding hairline. I don't think that's his real hair. I think they did that on purpose to make his head look longer.
Yeah,
like put his forehead here, so we get that appearance of the longer cartoon face that people complained about with the Inquisitor guy. But I think they did good, man. We know it's a good actor. All the young kids love him because of his voice. And I think he's very evil. After seeing him, I'm like listening to him. Like all the British voices, as we know in Star Wars, are bad dudes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I saw an interview with Sabine. She's British.
Oh, yeah, right.
So Sabine is for sure turning. There you go. All right, well, who's next after? I think I got more zombie trooper pictures. Oh no, we got Smile and Balin. And then Shin again acting with her eyes here. Like, so I guess what's going on here is we see them meeting for the actual first time. They have not ever met before. And we were like kind of maybe led to believe that he knew Thrawn and, or Thrawn knew him, but no, not either. And, but it's, I don't know. Now we know Thrawn doesn't really care for them.
Yeah.
There was a picture there of Sabine. I guess it might be out of order, but yeah. So Sabine, the prisoner, was brought up to meet Thrawn because he knows Sabine.
Yeah.
And he did have a little chat with her. And
it's good to see a familiar face after all these years.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he said. And she's like, yeah, whatever. She's very short for words. And then they kind of say, oh, we're gonna let you go. And she's like, what, just like that? Like, okay. And they do. They let her go. They give her blasters. They give her lightsaber and this space steed. I don't know. So it's some kind of a wolf. I don't know what kind of a wolf. It's not a dire wolf, but it's a
lizard wolf.
Yeah. It was ugly, but it was cool. Any new creatures in Star Wars is a bonus, so I'm very happy to see this. And yes, Mr. Enoch gives her weapons back, so that was pretty neat.
And he wishes that she would die well.
That's exactly what he says. Have a good death, die well.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna leave it on this picture again, just so we can all look at this guy in amazement.
Well, and he's got the top of the helmet like a, with those symbols like an AT-AT pilot,
Yeah, he's got stickers on there.
Like an AT-AT driver had,
But you can see the cracks, in his throat, his helmet.
Well, that brings up a thing where I was saying before, like, what happened to all this armor? Like if
killed by rebels.
Well, there wasn't a whole bunch of rebels on the Chimera when it got zapped away. It was just
they were get zapped away from a battle, didn't they?
Yeah, but
and they just lived 10 years in the middle of nowhere.
Shouldn't all the armor that's stored on the ship be like in good shape because it's stored?
I think these are all dead people, John. That's what I'm saying. Like, how many people do you think were alive on that ship when they zapped?
Okay, but if I die in a suit of armor, my armor doesn't crack in half and disintegrate. It lays on the ground in solid chunks and solid pieces. Why would your helmet fall apart if you were dead?
No, I know. Like usually, blasters and bombs and things blowing up. So I think we'll learn.
Yeah, but
of course we're going to learn because we're just theorizing. But maybe Thrawn went around and gathered up a bunch of dead people for his purposes of building a army of the dead, so to speak.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at
to find that out. I hope.
What I'm getting at is why would the armor be all busted up? I don't see why. If you had a
blasters, lightsabers,
but they were in a battle. The guys that were in the Star Destroyer when it got taken away, if they were in the Star Destroyer, they were just standing around like pristine armor. They wouldn't have had destroyed armor because they weren't in a battle when that thing got sucked away with the space whale.
What if Super Master Jedi Ezra killed them all?
Killed them all? Like every one of them? Yeah, okay.
I think by the end of this series, Ezra will be the last Jedi standing and the most powerful Jedi. I think that's what it's meant the story to go that way, that Ezra is going to win, so to speak. That's how I see it. But yeah, there's a thought.
See, I was wondering if
how did Ezra get off the ship to begin with?
See, I was wondering if they got to this planet and it was full of Night Sisters, and Thrawn had a huge battle with the Night Sisters, and they killed all the stormtroopers, but also all the Night Sisters died. And then Thrawn subjugated the 3 witches that were left and convinced them to raise the dead and put the dead in the stormtrooper armor. And that's why they're all busted up.
You can spell it. You choose how to spell it, Mike, but I think
it is N-I-G.
It's N-I-G-H-T, like dark.
Like, because that's what
I haven't seen it in spelling. I don't think it said it in the credits. Night Troopers. It did say Enoch. Yeah, I think Night Sisters, Night Troopers. And I've just seen a bunch of people call that on the internet. I don't know if that's canon. It sounds cool. Zombie Trooper sounds cool too.
I thought someone said it was in the caption. The closed
caption. Maybe I did not watch this episode with captions. I've only watched it twice, so I'm sorry. Star Wars Lords. I've only watched this episode twice. I usually give it a third watch. Yeah. Just a cool scene. I wonder if people are trying to translate some of those hieroglyphics on the walls there.
They look almost Mayan, though.
I was not, but we get to see, the presence that is Thrawn. Yeah, this trooper over here has got like a gray chest plate and got a little bit of gold on his ears and a gray leg. Yeah, it's weird. We're gonna find out. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's gonna be in the next 2 weeks, without a doubt. Now, here's my question. I don't remember them giving Sabine these Mano binocular computer MacBook iPad thingy.
Well, it could have been attached to the lizard.
It just comes with all the wolf lizards?
Yeah, it comes with the wolf lizard. Yeah.
But I thought she was good this episode. She had a lot of lines, a lot of dialogue, a lot of scenes of just walking and talking to a CGI, wolf, dog, fox, lizard thing. And I like her blinky lights. It's very, very Star Wars.
Yeah.
Very retro science fiction.
Well, and you notice the little gadget that she uses here has the same sound when it detects the life forms that are around her as Han Solo's did when he detected Luke.
And Luke's with the Tusken Raiders. I heard some similar noises. Yeah. Even from these creatures, they kind of gave me a little bit of a Tusken Raider sound vibe.
They did.
So, and I don't think these are dead zombie people. I think these are actual.
No, these are. These are. Yeah.
But I like the armor. I like the samurai looking armor. I thought that was pretty cool.
I like how they all had kind of different helmets. Like that one had the big spiky thing, and I think he got away, right? Because he was like.
I think one guy got away. Yeah.
Yeah, someone got a couple of them. I think 1 or 2 got away, and that's who they see later on.
I can see some 4-packs coming. Don't worry, Steve-O.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. If they make toys of those, they got to make at least 3 or 4 different ones so that you got a variety when you're looking at them.
Don't make them carbonized. Actually, these samurai guys, I buy them carbonized. I don't care. They look cool.
I'm not a carbonized fan. I don't.
Yeah, Mike, I do. When it comes to these shows that I'm such a nerd on, and Super John, I know he nerds out with the Star Wars stuff too. After a couple times, I will watch it with the subtitles because there's always something I missed, whether it's a word, they said something that I'm like, oh, I don't remember them saying that. But if you read it, you do kind of get the point sometimes that maybe you didn't get the point on your first 2 viewings. So I do recommend it if you really liked an episode, or if you go back and watch Mando or Book of Boba subtitles, and especially Andor. I watched Andor every time, maybe twice with the subtitles, because I took notes. Andor was a show that it felt like I had to use my brain and shit, and talk. If I was going to talk with John and and Ghost and some other guys about Andor, I better know what I'm talking about, because it's not just space fantasy stuff. It was like real. It was so well done. And Ahsoka's just give me the cool Star Wars vibes. I'm feeling very comfortable with this show. I just want to see more of these creatures, man. But yeah, it took her a minute, but she did get rid of, the danger when she brought out the lightsaber, because they basically shot her blasters out of her hands. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say she has no working blasters at this point. All she has is a lightsaber, broken blasters, and a broken iPad.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it could be.
And we get another look at the Chimera. And yeah, you can see more of this gold repair or whatever going on over here. It could just be damaged, but it looks like they've had to do some repair, or they wouldn't be able to fly the ship, right?
That's what I mean. They had all this gold. Yeah, I noticed all the gold and all the repairs, and I was just kind of like, so did the star whale like squish the ship? Like, did he crush it? Or like I'm saying, with the stormtrooper armor, did he arrive in this place and they had a great battle? Like, is the ship damaged?
It's possible too,
because something blew it to hell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is there something else here that he fought with and ended up winning? He won, and now he's repairing the ship and repairing his troops and working with the Night Sisters to build everything back up,
Yes, because he said in this episode that he's kind of made an agreement with them, which is why they're unloading from the Star Destroyer. They're taking all these human-sized boxes.
I know, yeah, they look like caskets,
and they're bringing them to the Witch Planet,
which
nobody lives on by the looks of it, except Ninja Turtles and some red samurais and these witches. So what's going on here?
They were taking them off the ship.
Yeah, these are going off the ship and being brought to the planet. Not the other way around. They weren't being taken off the planet onto the ship. So, and I'm going out on a limb. These are dead people.
Oh, I think
characters.
They're dead. Yeah, there's something in there that's not. Yeah,
and the witches are going to be reviving them. So I think that we're going to get intros to like possibly like the Emperor, Snoke, Dark Palpatine, Palpatine, Dark Jedi Luke, like those last two characters from the original Thrawn novels. And then the first two characters, when I say Snoke and Emperor, we know somehow that they get cloned or whatever because they're in the sequels. And there's going to be a tie-in between the Mando Ahsoka verse, as we see it now, to the sequel trilogies, as we've already seen. And
they might do something, but the idea that he has Snoke or the Emperor or even like something else,
Darth Vader,
that would mean he would have had to have their bodies on the Chimera back when he was fighting on Lothal, and that makes no sense. Like, why would he have their bodies?
Again, I'm reaching. Like I'm trying to. What bodies? Then all these bodies are only from this galaxy. Then.
Well, how else would he get them? Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't write the show. I'm just saying, like, so if he got these dead, and they might not even be bodies. They might be buckets of credits, but I don't think they're credits.
No, I think they're dead bodies as well.
They're Jedis and Sith and stormtroopers and you name it. But like, if what you're saying is all these bodies came from this galaxy, like he's bringing them right back to the same place where they came from. Then, so that means I'm going to go on a limb and say there's other planets in this galaxy.
Not if he picked it up at another planet. Yeah, that's what I mean.
What I'm saying. This is the only planet.
He fought. I'm leaning towards like he saw a battle with something in this galaxy and he won. And that's why his ship is being repaired with the gold, and why he's building this new army where the stormtroopers' armor is all destroyed, is because they went through a battle. They went through hell, but Thrawn ended up becoming victorious somehow. And
that might be the way. As like people like Ed and Sir Eric are going to be like, it's the Jisk or the Fist,
whatever
the Jinx, whatever these creatures are from, not canon. But I mean, there is a canon creature in the modern Thrawn novels. So that's the only thing I can think of. Why they haven't showed it to us with 2 hours left?
Or the hermit crab people that Ezra's hanging out with destroyed the Star Destroyer and all these stormtroopers, and now he's bringing them all back to life with the Night Sister magic, you know. So those little hermit crab people that are hanging out with Ezra are far more equipped at battle than you first think, because they killed everyone.
You mean the Ninja Turtles?
They're not turtles, they're crab people.
Okay, so I currently have a poll up. What was your first thoughts of the Enoch character? And
where's that poll? I gotta
in the chat of the YouTube. So
okay.
54% of the chat said badass. 23%, there was a tie for what the France? And he was super weird. And 0 votes for I did not notice anything strange at all. What are you talking about?
I didn't notice anything strange.
So I need a new poll now. Start a poll.
Oh, you ended it without me being able to vote? Okay.
Yes.
I see.
Were they turtles? Or what did you call them?
They're crabs.
Or crabs.
They had eyes on stalks. When have you seen a turtle with an eye on a stalk? And they had pincer hands. When have you seen a turtle with pincer hands?
I guess.
And when have you seen a turtle that lives in a hermit crab shell?
All right, I'm just going to say
they were crabs.
The wrong kind of poll. Were they turtles? And you can just say yes or no.
Yeah.
Because I'm confident that they're Ninja Turtles. You know what? Is it the brand new hot Grogu that's going to steal all the kids' heart, though, John?
No.
I agree. I don't think there's going to be a flood of I don't know their names. I know it's another Greek mythology word. But forgive me, I don't remember what they were called.
Like that they were the crabs were wearing like proper British
turtle shells.
They had
clothes on.
Proper
Not
British
only were they
suits.
wearing shells, they had like clothing, which good point. It was quite weird. So they're civilized. They're civilized Ninja Turtles. Well, yeah,
crabs.
Can't really see.
No, they're bringing some of them onto the ship. See, those are going onto the Chimera.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. They were going both ways.
So are they going both ways? Yeah. Did you notice those drop ships? Did you notice the drop ships in the back are like from the Clone Wars era?
Yes, these are pretty badass too.
Or I guess they were from Rebels, right? They showed them in Rebels, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see those flying.
Not the Clone Wars, it was Rebels.
I believe they were going both ways then.
Yeah,
John.
they might be going both ways with those. Yeah.
Interesting.
But they totally look like coffins, like there's dead people inside.
They're the exact size.
Yeah.
So this one's Maul and this one's Anakin, Asajj Ventress. Yeah, it'd be cool to see a badass fighting Sith Witch. So we're getting near the end of the episode here, and they're talking about they already sent Shin and Hati to go follow after Sabine in hopes that they find Ezra, and Thrawn's kind of orders were to kill them both. But at this point, we now know Thrawn doesn't even care if they come back at all.
Yeah, he's like, we don't care
if they come back or not.
Yeah, I don't care if they come back or they die, whatever. Either way, they're out of our hair. So
Thrawn is tight with Morgan Elsbeth. They're tight, like they're best buds. I don't think either of them is going to turn on anybody, but it could be wrong. Like, you know, greed and evil does lots of bad things. But yeah, I think we're on the right direction when we start thinking that Baylan and Shin are going to be going against. Like, I'm pretty sure Baylan's going to be battling Thrawn at some point. I just have that feeling. If Thrawn defeats him, because I don't see Thrawn as a fighting dude. But I see them getting into having a difference or another. And maybe Thrawn sent a bunch of his zombie lightsaber wielding Greek gods to go fight him.
It's kind of inevitable because if Thrawn is already acting like Baylan and Shin don't matter, that's going to come back to bite them, because
Mm-hmm.
once Balin realizes that they don't matter to Thrawn, they're going to be against Thrawn. There's no, you know what I mean? There's no way you would stay on Thrawn's side and Morgan's side if you realize that they're just using you as cannon fodder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I don't think he knows that yet.
No,
right?
not yet, but he's going to find out. You know what I mean? It's inevitable.
I think Thrawn has something, knows something, or for Balin. Like, that's going to help Balin with his goal. I don't think them just being on the planet Peridia is enough. Like, I don't think Balin and Shin can just go be on their own now and whatever goals he wants can be achieved. I think he does have to get back to Thrawn and Morgan Elsbeth somehow to finish what he started somehow.
Here's the other thing too. Do you think Ahsoka? Do you think when Ahsoka comes out of hyperspace, do you think she goes to the Chimera, or do you think she goes to the planet and finds Ezra and Sabine and Balin first?
I think she'll get found, because remember what he's saying to her here is, maybe it might not be this exact scene, but in an upcoming scene, they find out Ahsoka's alive, and he's like, "What? He says, I thought you killed her."
He says,
when
if
the
whales
get here,
whale,
kill him.
shoot him. Yeah, shoot the whale.
So I think that's going to be our introduction to Ahsoka, and hopefully she will actually die again.
No, she'll fly out of the dead whale, but what I mean is that, like, if she flies out of the dead whale, is she gonna fly to the planet? Fly.
Oh, she's in a ship.
She's in a ship. Yeah.
But I thought you meant like no.
Eagerly. No. I mean, like, so do you think she's gonna land on the planet with the ship, or is she gonna try to get into the Chimera? You know what I mean? Like, I kind of think that what's gonna happen is Balin and Shin are gonna confront Ezra and Sabine.
Oh, good point.
And during that battle, like while they're battling, Ahsoka shows up, and jumps in and saves the day.
Mr. B throws in a good point here. So we did see Sabine take off on her little, let's call it a wolf thing, take off on her wolf and find the Ninja Turtles, which we haven't got to yet. And then a few minutes later, a couple scenes later,
Balin
and Shin take off on their own little wolves to go find them. And then here, what we're finding out is
Thrawn says send a couple troops after him.
Yes, so we're gonna send. That hasn't happened yet, but so we're gonna see a bunch of these troops battling against Sabine, Ezra, Ninja Turtles, maybe Ahsoka.
No, you know what? That's where Balin learns Thrawn's intentions, because Thrawn told the troops to kill them all.
Yes.
So when Balin and Shin see the troops, and the troops start firing on them, they're going to be like, what the hell? Like, and end up joining. But what I mean is, like, is that when Ahsoka shows up? Is she going to, like, jump out, like, suddenly fly down in her ship and be like, da-da, I'm here to help you guys? Hate it,
but again, I don't think Ahsoka is relevant to anything in Star Wars. And I'm going to go and say, even in this series at this point, she is not relevant to anything. She's not part of any of the storyline we saw this episode, which is fine with me. She will be back, of course. This guy's cool. Hey, what's going on? I thought this would be Super John's new favorite guy.
No, Yoda's my favorite guy.
But yeah, Ahsoka's, she means nothing, man. She's nobody. How cool are these guys? And again, they're turtles, right?
He's got eye stalks.
What?
What turtle
he's got pants and a penis too, but it doesn't mean
what turtles,
he's not a space turtle.
What turtles have eye stalks on top of their head like that? None.
Okay.
But crabs do.
This chat is fixed. 71% of the chat so far says they're not turtles.
Yeah, they're crabs. They're hermit crabs.
I don't know. I've seen hermit crabs and kind of turtley. Turtle soup. But I wonder if from what I'm gathering, Ezra has no weapons. Sabine has just one lightsaber.
We don't know.
Well,
Ezra could have.
Pretty sure if he lives with a bunch of rock hermits, they don't.
I told you these hermit crab things have like super
laser
powerful
eyes?
weapons. Yeah, they're like Death Stars. They're like a whole bunch of little mini Death Stars.
Maybe they got freaking Force magic, like Sith magic.
Who knows? They have
I think we're going to see a lot more of those creatures being ridden.
They have purple magic. No, I think they're all dead. I think Balin and Shin are going to show up, and the stormtroopers are going to show up, and they're going to kill all these hermit crabs. And Ezra's going to be like, you! And he's suddenly going to pull out this, like, wicked new lightsaber that has, like, 4 blades on it that we've never seen before.
4-bladed.
He's just going to be like, it's like a tire iron. You know those?
Oh, she does still have a blaster here, so maybe they both weren't damaged because they both got shot out of her hands. But maybe they can take a shot.
The other thing, too, is during that fight, if you watch the fight, I rewound it and watched it again because I was like, wait a minute, didn't she just get hit in the face? Like the guy,
she blocked it with her hand, right?
The guy smacked her the back of her head with the staff that he was fighting with.
Yes.
He hit her right in the back of the head. And then the next guy shoots her right in the face. You see the sparks go off in her face. And
did she not put her gauntlet
up?
up?
She didn't block it that time. I rewound it and watched it again. I was like, wait a minute. Did she just get hit in the head with a staff and then shot in the face? And I rewound it and I was like, yeah, but she did. But it's like they forgot she wasn't wearing a helmet. You know, like,
yeah, they were going to CGI it back in.
Yeah, and they forgot that. Yeah.
But see, like, axes.
He meets these guys, and I thought one of these guys was in the fight. I was like, yeah, I'm sure that realistically it hit her like
the
right in the side or something. So the way the sparks flew, it just flew in front of her face.
These guys have similar like chest armor.
Yeah,
but, all their helmets are quite original and different. He's got kind of Mando-like shoulder pads. These guys are different.
But they're gonna go with
leather ones.
They're gonna go with Balin and.
You know what? It's a good point because I think right now there's 1-2 versus like what's two battalions, like 200 stormtroopers, 20 stormtroopers.
I think,
and then plus Ezra and Sabine. So you got four against like 2 battalions, and then maybe these guys can help too. So yeah, maybe they do become.
Because a squad is 4, right? So I don't know what a battalion is, but. Did he say a battalion? I don't know.
I think 2 battalions. Could be wrong. And then I don't know. I thought this could have been a big, wowie, emotional kind of scene.
Oh, good Lord!
But I think it was cool.
A battalion has 1,000 soldiers in it, so he couldn't be sending a battalion, right? What did he
say then? 2 troops, 2 squads. He said squads, I think.
The squad has 4.
Oh, then maybe he just sent 8 stormtroopers.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, good point. But so I don't know. Everyone's been talking about Ezra this, Ezra that. Like, I don't know. I just know him from the cartoons, and so it's my first introduction to him in live action, and I guess it was a good one. Wasn't anything special. Like he didn't use any Jedi powers or. She laid down her gun with that little turtle guy just to know, hey, I'm here in peace, little crab turtle guy.
Ezra looks like his dad now.
Well, again, as we know, 10 years have gone by, so it's pretty interesting to see.
And he's
Ezra,
wearing
I believe, didn't have a beard.
And you notice he's got a gold chainmail shirt on?
Yeah, it looks like it's handmade out of like bottle caps and shit too. It's pretty
whatever,
cool.
Yeah.
I think my next picture is a closer look.
So
but yeah, he did not have a beard in the cartoon. So now Ezra is more cool just because he's a man and has a beard.
And
Sabine knows that.
Yeah.
Sabine knows, and she's all hot and bothered, right? Platoons. Maybe it was platoons.
2 platoons. Okay.
Hey, Gilster. Yeah, those troopers were pretty badass. I agree. We don't know if they're dead or not. Let me zoom in on this one to see his armor here.
A platoon has up to 50 soldiers in it and is generally commanded by a lieutenant.
Yeah, so maybe it was just squads of 4 because the witch was saying, oh, that might not be enough. And he's like, please, woman. I know what I'm doing. Question the blue man. So I noticed he did have. There was one small little electric little pad on that one wrist thing. Otherwise, he's all quite, homemade. Like that armor looks like
Yeah.
it's made of just parts that they found in the. So
And
interesting.
it makes you wonder too, like what happened to his clothes that he came with, because he was wearing that orange and yellow, and he had the
Yes.
armor. He had some, like, it was almost armor on the top, but
Maybe we'll see one of the Ninja Turtle
Yeah.
crabs wearing it because it's their size.
And did he make them all those little necklaces? Like, didn't they all have that little necklace? He's like,
Yeah, they all had the
he's
little
like,
rebel necklace. I didn't get a
he's
picture of
making
that.
them all. He's just sitting around making turtles necklaces out of rebel symbols.
And this location, like, this is like where I live. Like, city of Port Moody looks just like that. It's pretty cool. But weirdly, this is probably like still a blue screen.
But they're going to move. He said they're getting ready to move.
You could just go there. Yeah, he says he said something about like we move every couple of nights. I guess so those red samurai guys don't hunt them down and smash all the rock people. And more images of coffin-y looking things. And Vern Labs brand red duct tape.
Yep.
You can see more of the little rippy poos in his chest right here. So something going on there.
Well, I thought when you said it was worn out, I thought you meant like it was ripped and burned and shattered, like Anakin's after the fight on Mustafar or
It's
Obi-Wan's.
not a brand new costume rental from Spirit, like those generals on the Republic.
No, I noticed that, but I didn't take it as tattered and ripped like as much as you. Like when you said it was tattered and ripped, I thought you meant like it was shredded and there were burn holes in it and it was like ripped. And I'm going, what are you talking about? It wasn't ripped apart. But yeah,
burn holes.
It's definitely like worn out. Yeah. I said hi to you earlier.
One per customer. You're loud. Yes, the more thumbs up, the better. Then that way we get more than 4,000 views because Ahsoka nerds go crazy over that stuff, don't they?
Nuts. Yeah.
I was excited for it. I was raring to go at 6:00 when it dropped, and when I heard, I gotta play that little clip again. When I heard the Thrawn music, like Thrawn's intro and his music, that was badass. And then I really did lose my shit when that guy came on the screen because I'm like, what the France? Like, who is this, character from the next 300 movie, that we haven't seen yet? Like, I was blown away. That was not spoiled for me. I did not know there was a stormtrooper with like a gold metallic human face in it. I did know there was like kind of glued together stormtroopers from rumors and stuff long ago. So, that part was kind of spoiled, I guess. But I was still surprised, very excited to see Thrawn. As I was speaking with John earlier, I thought Thrawn looked great, man. Like, what can you do? You don't want to CGI ahead, do you? Like, you want to go to, even though we're in the age of they can CGI anything, like maybe that is something they can consider doing. Like, if I'm trying to think of a particular movie, like a movie where Will Smith is in a police movie and his cop buddy's an alien and he's all CGI the whole time. Like, it can be done, like Jar Jar. And so it's not like out of the realm that a TV show couldn't fit something like that in their budget, because when it's Disney and Lucasfilm, they can, like we've seen with the de-aging of Luke, apparently that wasn't cheap. And then from a couple episodes ago, the Anakin, which I don't think they really de-aged him. I think they just made him look blue, and he's a handsome Canadian guy, so he still looks pretty young. He doesn't look like me. He doesn't look old like me, even though he's literally, I think, the exact same age as me. Maybe Thrawn needs a beard, a blue beard.
Can they grow a beard? Can his race grow a beard?
Yeah, what's his race called? Not Faline.
Faline. Chiss.
The Chiss?
He's a Chiss.
Faline was Prince Zizor.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to see Prince Zizor?
Oh, they would have done him by now.
From the Shadows of the Empire series?
They would have done him by now. I mean, they had a perfect chance to do it when he showed up in the Clone Wars and in Rebels and everything else that the Feline have been in.
We're gonna rename this show. Two Guys with Beards Watch Ahsoka.
There you go.
Which is funny. We have a moving company here. Maybe it's there too. I don't know. It's a moving company like U-Haul. It's called Two Small Guys with Big Hearts Moving Company.
Oh,
that's
we have it like Two Guys with a Truck or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It's something like that, but yeah.
Rolando does not like fake head.
I just think that I think part of the reason that Disney does this stuff where they did the Luke and they did now they did Anakin. I think they're pushing the technology till they get to a point where a lot of us don't notice, where there's going to be a point. It's going to get to a point where it's so good that we start going, has that been de-aged? Is that actor really there?
Well, when I first got introduced to that technology was the Tron Legacy movie, where
that was really
Kirk
bad.
Douglas, or was it Michael Keaton, one of the Estevezes? I don't know. Was de-aged, and it was just kind of quickly, and he turned his head, and you're like, "Whoa, that's Michael Douglas," or whichever Douglas it was.
That was pretty bad, though. You could really.
But that was more than 20 years ago, John. Too.
Yeah, I know. But what I mean is,
also they're filming the sequel to that here in Vancouver, but it's on hold because they're all on strike.
Because I think I wouldn't be surprised if they do something down the road where eventually, it might be 10 years from now. It's not like it's going to happen tomorrow, but like 10 or 15 years down the road, they're going to make an entire film with no actors. It's just going to be all CG live action characters. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. And
then they won't.
Yeah, you're right, Gilster. It's kind of like a knockoff of that. I don't know his name. His name is not. I think his name might even be Enoch, but it is right from mythology of, Greeks and Roman Empire and all that stuff, which is cool because, that's the stories. It's not all just samurai stories. Like we kind of saw the Luke and Grogu and Ahsoka. Ahsoka kind of follows a samurai kind of storyline. I'm not using the exact words. There's a certain word for that type of movie, but it's kind of neat to see this new type of mythology brought into the Star Wars. It worked, but I don't know. I'm going to have to get used to that Enoch guy's helmet. Like really, I'm telling you right now, Black Series will not be making that helmet. I can guarantee it. It's not going to be. I'm pretty sure we'll get a toy, like an action figure, and maybe a Hot Toy, because Hot Toys goes all out with that stuff. But then again, it depends how.
Oh, you mean like a full helmet that you and I would wear?
Yeah, Black Series will not make that helmet unless this character turns out to be like dead Luke Skywalker, or not. It's not Luke because he's not dead, but evil Luke, or a clone of Luke, or
someone,
or Darth Vader, Anakin's clone. Like, unless it's someone really important, I just don't see bunches of action figures and helmets be made of Enoch. He's just too weird, man.
It's Peter Parker's clone. It's going to be Spider-Man.
It was just weird. But I did like the troopers, man. I want to see more of them. Now, was that music just music, or were those troopers kind of chanting?
I think they were chanting Thrawn, weren't they?
Yeah,
they were chanting.
The ghosts. It was kind of robot-y.
They're ghosts. The ghosts
was kind of robot-y.
Yeah. Thrawn. I thought they were chanting anyway.
What was your favorite part of the show, and why was it the Ninja Turtle crabs?
That's funny. I don't know. I mean, like it's weird, but my favorite parts are seeing the hangar and with the TIE fighters hanging in it, and seeing basically like the clip you played. Because
same here, that was my favorite part.
To me, that's those kind of shots are Star Wars to me. So I think those are necessary shots to call it a Star Wars movie or a Star Wars thing. You you have to have flybys of ships going by, and you've got to show the hangars like that and stuff like, that's Star Wars.
When it was happening, and that ship was kind of lowering on that, that pyre thing. I'm wondering, I'm like, okay, how are they going to do this? What's going to happen? Like, where's there going to be a floor and who's going to walk? But they did it. Like, I didn't have any questions after they did it. I'm like, that works for me. But that for me was also my favorite part. I was a little, I don't want to use the word disappointed. I wish we would have, again, got a little bit more of the Baylan and Shin. Although we did get a lot, like maybe 40% of the show was them. But, I mean, it just didn't expand their character that much. Just enough. I think
that's next episode.
Keep me interested. Because they are, for sure, the most interested characters in this series for me are Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati.
Yeah.
Not anyone else. Not any of the rebels. It's cool to see Thrawn. Thrawn's a character I approve of from my youth reading it in the novels. So it's great to see him in the action. The zombie troopers are all kind of new to me. Night troopers, dark troopers, whatever they're gonna be called, not dark troopers. But yeah, the Shin and Baylan, they're new to me. I want to know more about them. They're great actors. They're doing a great job. Yeah, man, that's what I'm most looking forward to in this series. It's what's happening with those two characters, because I'm the most impressed with them.
I think you get more of them next week. I think next week we're gonna see this confrontation between Baylan, Shin, Ezra, and Sabine, and then the stormtroopers are gonna show up, and they're all gonna be like, shoot them all, kill everybody, and then the four of them are gonna be battling. But then all of a sudden, out of the sky comes Ahsoka, and she jumps out of the ship and helps them all,
and then dies because you should have waited for the ship to get lowered before she jumped out of the ship.
Yeah, exactly. And then they'll just stand over her dead body and I'll kill the stormtroopers. And then Baylan's like, we got to go back to the ship and get Thrawn because he just betrayed me and everything.
So where is Ahsoka's owl from Clash of the Titans? Like, isn't that?
I don't know. I don't understand that.
Did it travel through hyperspace too?
It should have been there the whole time because they showed it in Mandalorian. So why wouldn't it be here? That part doesn't make sense to me. I don't get what happened to it.
I think we will see it again, but it'll be right when Ahsoka dies again.
Is that it?
Well, it seems like Dave's saving the owl for something. Like, I don't think it's gonna. I don't think Ahsoka's going to be having a lightsaber battle with Baylan, and the owl will come and go, hey, use your left hand, and give her a tip or something. I think it'll just be the last. Ahsoka will die, and we'll just see this owl in a tree. It's me. It's when Rick writes Star Wars. That's how it ends. Yes, she could have been very hungry and ate the owl.
Yeah.
Or Grogu could have ate it. Wow.
Yeah, Grogu ate it. Yeah.
What do you think Grogu would do with those little turtles?
Oh, he'd eat them.
Or crabs.
Yeah, he'd eat them.
So yesterday I did hear rumor, I guess it was a leak, that there was a brand new cute little creature that we're going to find on this planet that Ezra is living with. And I heard that this was in the morning. I'm like, oh no, what are they going to do? Right? Like, are they going to a planet full of little Grogus? Because the leak was like, it's going to be the cutest animal and it's going to break the internet. And I'm like, yeah, no, it wasn't that cute. It was actually kind of ugly, but they were cool. So are we going to get those little turtle figures before we get Carson Teva?
Probably. They're going to make a 2-pack of turtles, of crab creatures. Yeah.
So since Hasbro has not revealed or announced Baylan or Shin, I don't think so. Did they even pipeline them at all?
No, I don't think they did.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we're gonna see all of those. Well, the unmade characters from Ahsoka yet revealed, and they'll probably be in that same wave of figures that's already shipping. So probably won't be too long. So Baylan,
next Tuesday.
Is that how soon they're coming?
Well, they do. Don't they do Tano Tuesday or something like that?
They didn't do nothing yesterday.
Okay, well.
But yeah, and Star Wars is promoting Town on Tuesday, I thought. But yeah, so we need Baylan and we need Shin action figures. Now we also need Enoch and Night Troopers, right?
Yeah.
Anyone else? Like, who's missing?
Oh, they'll redo Thrawn also. They'll
Yeah,
make the
Thrawn with the new actor's likeness. I can see that.
They'll
And
do
some little tears in his uniform.
Yep.
They got to put that little damage to his uniform, or else, or maybe
they'll do a new Thrawn figure just because they've already got it made. So all they have to do is
those samurai guys would be kind of cool, just because I like Tusken Raiders and army builders.
Yep. I could see them doing one of those. Yeah.
Do we need Ahsoka and Owl figure? Oh no, we got an Owl, didn't we? I think Vintage Collection. I think Vintage Collection had an Owl figure at one time.
Did they?
In that Ahsoka box. I don't
remember, but maybe they did.
Yes, they'd have to give Thrawn a little bit bigger belly, a plot belly.
There you go. Yeah.
Or heavy. Sabine with a cloak.
Oh yeah, armor and a cloak. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's got no helmet. I guess she's got a lightsaber and a blaster, so she could donate a weapon to Ezra and help fight. Unless Ezra's like, I'm a vegan now, I don't fight no more.
No.
Like Luke, and I quit the Jedi.
Ezra will surprise us all, and he'll break out like a red lightsaber.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about Ezra and Sabine there, since I kind of skimmed over that really quick. I can tell he wants to go home. Like,
yeah,
he's done here. Like, he looks like he's pretty happy and go lucky and whatever, but no, the way he's talking to her, he's like, yeah, I can't wait to go home. Like, let's go. And she's like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, yeah, we can't go home ever. We're stuck here forever until some wolf comes and rescues us or something. But yeah, so as far as Sabine is concerned, she's stuck there, right? Because she doesn't know. Well, she thinks Ahsoka's dead. No one else came with her in Thrawn's ship that's a good guy. So she has to tell Ezra next episode, hey, look, here's how I got here. We got to use your space wizard magic, and we got to go inside a whale if we want to go back.
Well, yeah, I don't know what Sabine was thinking, because like, you're right. It's like, is she thinking she can just go back to the ship and like be like, hey, can we hitch a ride back?
Yeah, hey Thrawn.
Like, yeah.
Are you going east?
Yeah, I don't know what. Because you're right, she would just be like, have to be like, well, we're stuck here, like there's no going back. But it's weird that, yeah.
Well, and Satine, Balin and Satine. Shin Hati kind of said up on that cliff with Balin and Thrawn and the witch, you're sending them out to the wolves, kind of thing. Like, they're just, and you're like, yeah. And then they still agreed to go chase them. So I thought, okay. So before you went to go chase, or before you were told you're going to chase them, you realized, oh, you're just sending them out to die. You're sending her out to die. And he's like, yeah, basically, yeah. Now you're going to go follow her. And you can see her eyes lit up like, what? Me?
Yeah, so they would have to sneak
see more Ezra, because we haven't seen any of him, except for a little hologram speech. But
yeah, exactly. They'll have to sneak back onto the ship. They'll have to sneak on. But
so there's still lots of questions for me, like as far as what's going on with Thrawn and his forces. What the witches are doing for him. I think we have to think the witches are making
a ghost army. They're making the ghost army. That's what they're doing for him.
Pretty badass, man. Now, if you had to pick one person that's already dead, character that's already dead, evil or good, to be, revived by Thrawn somehow, even though we don't know how he would have got their bodies, you've already kind of laid that out. Who would be cool to see? Like, if you could pick between Maul and, what's the girl's name? The girl.
I think the one that would really freak everybody out, and also freak out Ahsoka as a character, would be if it was Plo Koon.
Plo Koon, okay, so one of the Jedi.
Because Plo Koon was the one who found Ahsoka and brought her into the Order. and was her master before Anakin when she was like really young. When she was a young
maybe a scene with Ahsoka fighting a zombie Plo Koon.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yes,
she'd have
because
to destroy her original master.
Yes, because Thrawn, he said, I want to find out everything about her, where she's from, who her master was.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know that Anakin Vader was her master, even though he knows Vader and Anakin both. He's worked with them both from the books and canon. So interesting that he doesn't know who her master is. And I wonder if that will change things when he does find out, or how he would find out, whether it be from Ahsoka or the Sith Witch or Balin spilling the beans, because they didn't. But again, he didn't ask them. He was just talking to Morgan Elsbeth about that.
Crabs. They were crabs. Not
crab turtles and beards. Hopefully he still remembers how to be a Jedi. Yeah, Asajj, that's the chick I'm thinking. That would be a cool...
Yeah, Asajj.
It would fit for her because she is one of these, witchy characters, right? And she's a badass warrior with a lightsaber. What's Dino got to say? Sabine and Ezra's meeting was weird. They didn't seem excited to see each other. We in the chat seem more excited to say hi to each other during live streams. Well, it's been 10 years since we've seen you, Dino.
Yeah.
Sabine was definitely excited. You could tell the look in her eyes. Much like when Ahsoka saw Annie in her little space dream, she was like, Annie? Like she was, again, eye acting. That's the actors doing a good job. And I think Sabine did a good job acting that episode. Seemed very thrilled and excited, but at the same time, I gotta tell him, like, we're doomed. We're not getting off here, because he's like, I can't wait to go back.
She said, let's talk about this later.
Let me
just enjoy being with you for a second before we get into this bad news.
Let's eat some crabs.
Yeah.
In a hot air balloon. Interesting. All right, so we ended this in less than 2 hours, Super John. Congrats.
Yay.
You did it.
Well, we just had two of us chatting instead of 3 or 4, so.
True. So I don't think it was any less interesting of an episode. Again, we finally got to see.
I think we're getting a big battle next episode. It's going to be.
I hope so.
It's going to start out with Balin and Shin fighting with those red troopers. They're going to have a couple of those red guys, the red Tusken Raiders, in their cool helmets, fighting with Sabine and Ezra. We're going to see Ezra whip out. All right. It won't be a red lightsaber because that would be too shocking. But Ezra's going to whip out a purple lightsaber. He's going to be the only other one. Yeah, he's going to be the only other one besides Mace that had a purple lightsaber. And he'll be like, well, the Kyber on this planet's different than the Kyber in the other galaxy. Like, that's what made Mace Windu's lightsaber so rare, is because the crystal actually came from this other galaxy, and we're going to find that out. And there's going to be this big battle between them, and then in the middle of it, all these stormtroopers are going to show up, and they're going to be shooting Balin, and they'll shoot all the red guys and kill them, and then Balin and Shin will be left fighting, and they'll move over and stand next to Sabine and Ezra,
back
and
to back.
they'll be all fighting the stormtroopers. And just when it looks like they're at the end of their, like, getting surrounded, down will fly Ahsoka, and she'll jump out of the ship. And then Hugh Yang
in the talons of her owl, she'll be like, woohoo!
Yeah, and then, like, she'll jump down and start fighting with him. And then Hugh Yang will fly the ship away and go like, I'm following Jedi protocol to get to a special safe distance. And he'll fly to a safe distance, and they'll all fight all the stormtroopers. And then when it's done, Balin and Shin will be like, we're going to join you because Thrawn betrayed us by sending those stormtroopers after us. Let's all go back to the ship. And they'll all get in Ahsoka's ship, and they'll all fly back to the Chimera. You just
spoiled the rest of the series for everyone now. But Vern brings up a good point here. He brings up the word broom, because I saw this someone posted on Twitter, a rumor, not a leak or anything, but Broom Boy is Balin's skull. And I don't know how that works. Remember Broom Boy?
Yeah. From the
But I thought Broom Boy was in the sequels.
Well, he went to a teleporter and got transported back in time.
There it is. So it's confirmed. Broom Boy is Balin Skull. Then I saw that on Twitter. I'm like, wait, that can't work. Spoiler alert! It's too late. John just spoiled. He just spoiled season 2 of Ahsoka if they're going to make one.
It'll be gold.
Yeah. So the gold that was used to kind of put together Enoch's helmet, kind of gives us that flashback to Kylo Ren using the red soldering system to put his helmet back together. Exactly. So I wonder what the red substance was that glued his helmet back together. If it's just a different brand of space crazy glue, or if it's Sithy and red. But yeah, the gold. I don't know. We got to find out what that gold is, John. Like, is there a bunch of gold on the Peridian planet?
It's gold pressed latinum. You're going to find out that this is actually
Space gold.
This is actually the Star Trek galaxy, and this is where Star Trek and Star Wars merge. That's what you're going to find out. And
so the Purgles really are, what are the little Star Trek fur balls called?
Tribbles.
So Purgles are really tribbles?
Yep.
Welcome, White Shadow. Right on time. We're about to just get started here. Broom Boy. Yeah, see. I still think he's why is he not Ben Kenobi's brother? That's my theory. Why is he not?
I think they're saving Ben's brother for something else.
Well, they should do it in my lifetime. God dang it. I'm only going to be here so long.
But yeah, that red tape is sold out now. You can't buy it anymore.
The red tape? What, from Vern Lab Studios?
Yeah.
New from Oakhurst Studios and Vern Lab Technologies, it's the Battery Daddy Caddy. Get yours today. Available at Walmart for $9.99.
We got to make a new commercial for Vern's red duct tape now.
Red duct tape, yeah.
But speaking of that, I think it was Vern was probably the only one that I'm going to call out now. The spoilers, dude. You're posting pictures on the interwebs that maybe people like Geek Strong haven't seen the Ahsoka episode yet. But I'm just saying, I didn't. I wanted to make a different thumbnail for my after show part 6, but I decided to not put one with Enoch on it, as to get hate mail, and people actually mail me like hate and email me hate because what are you doing spoiling? I'm like, yeah, but mine's in between 3 other spoiler-filled thumbnails. But I didn't. Yeah. I just put the blue Thrawn best a picture I could find of him, and I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, you
can go watch it.
You can put Enoch on the next one.
Yeah, see, that's why I didn't make a thumbnail yesterday, because I want my thumbnails to be relevant to the actual episode, and it was either like Thrawn, Space Turtle Crabs, but I can't. That would be a spoiler. Enoch would be a spoiler. Sabine riding a wolf donkey zonky thing would be a spoiler. So there wasn't a lot of the Chimera, the big ship coming in. That would be a spoiler. But lots of great images. I can't wait to see what StarWars.com chooses for their official screenshots from this episode. Because when I pick all these myself. And then I go back, and tomorrow on StarWars.com, I see that they obviously watch my episode and they pick some of the same screenshots. So you're welcome.
They probably take them right from your. Dave. Yeah, they take them.
They probably, because it's better quality when it's 720 on YouTube than from their actual archives.
Yeah, exactly.
29 forever, Vern. Good stuff, Tito. So thanks everyone for joining me and Super Awesome Geek Show today as we talked Ahsoka Part 6. Anyone else get the lasso of truth vibes from Night Sisters Tide of Sabine?
Yep.
Yeah, kind of. That was a new weapon or tech that I've never seen before. The three red, space balls. Yep. But are those the red space balls that those statues were holding in different ways?
That's what I think. Yeah.
Or were they all holding the space map, which is also a space ball?
They just use space ball technology and everything.
So they can just throw space maps.
They'll have spaceball guns, spaceball lightsabers, spaceball like ropes, spaceball ships.
So why not? Okay, Hasbro's done this before. They made Indiana Jones. They made the pendant. What's that pendant thing called? They made that gold thing from Indiana Jones as a toy. They made like the cube from Dungeons and Dragons, like some slime cube.
Yeah.
They made lots of weird little proppy kind of things, Power Ranger things. Maybe they make a space map.
They might make them all, yeah.
Co-sponsored by Rubik's Cube.
Yeah. Those are sold out too. You notice that? I wonder if that company's like, what the hell? Why are all our puzzles sold out?
They're all sold out, eh?
And then they were like, we can't make them fast enough. What's going on? And then someone tells them, oh, that's because they put it in Star Wars. And they're like, what?
Merchandise. Now I want to watch Spaceballs. What a great film.
I mean, pretty soon the witches are just gonna pull out that guy and he's gonna be like, we ain't found shit.
And Thrawn's gonna tell him, go comb the desert.
Yeah.
And we'll see some space zombies with a big comb.
In a pick.
Can't find him, sir.
No, he said we ain't found.
Yeah, I love that show, man. I can't believe there's people on the planet that dislike Spaceballs or have never seen it because they think it's so stupid. I'll never watch that garbage. Spaceballs is classic film. You have to watch it.
Yeah, it's a great. My real name is Barfall on you.
Long form for Bart.
Barf.
Barf was the name of a guy on You Can't Do That in Television. I don't know if you know that show.
Oh, of course I do.
Nickelodeon show. You see, but it was made at my school in Ottawa.
I know, yeah.
I didn't know everyone in the States saw that until like 10 years ago. I'm like, that was on in the States? But yeah, Les Sly was the actor that played Barf. And then I goes, Barf, Spaceballs. That's where you're getting Barf from.
Yeah, Barfall on you.
Great Canadian. All these great Canadians. All right, so all I got to say about that is...
We back. We in effect. What? We back. We back.
See everybody next week. Thanks for joining us.
Left coast is the best coast.